Welcome to Walker Watch. Thanks for joining me for a recap of the series premiere of Walker. Take notes. The story begins with a loving scene between Cordell Walker and his wife Emily, who he's worried about as she leaves to deliver supplies in the desert. Emily is shot on the trip, declaring something's not right in a desperate phone call to Cordell as he hears the fatal shots fired. We then jump forward in time 11 months, with Cordell returning home to Austin after being undercover for most of that time. The story mostly follows Walker as we are introduced to his estranged family and friends, relationships already strained by his work-life balance, his absence having exacerbated the situation. Cordell had left his 2 children in the care of his parents, Bohum and Abilene, or Mauline, at their family ranch. His son August, or Augie, welcomes him home with open arms and seems desperate to keep the family together this time. But daughter Stella is less forgiving of the abandonment right after their mom's death, admonishing her father for not even calling for months. The daughter acts out, getting arrested and then ditching school, continuing the conflict with her dad throughout the episode. Stella's arrest with her friend Isabel, or Belle, opens up the risk of deportation of that family, and Walker attempts to pull some strings and rush that family's papers through the system to prevent the deportation. A family friend, Stan Morrison, who is mentioned in the periphery and calls Cordell a hero in his intro, had made sure Walker was called about his daughter Stella's arrest, Cordell calling Stan Austin's finest string puller. There is also conflict with Cordell's parents, including them deciding to put his kids in Catholic school, against Cordell and Emily's wishes. It also transpires that Cordell's brother, William or Liam, has moved back in with their parents to help raise his kids while Cordell was undercover, straining his relationship with his boyfriend, Brett, because of it. Liam's an assistant DA and kept his place in the city as well, one assumes for sanity purposes. No offense, Mom and Dad. Cordell, or Cordy as his brother calls him, seems frustrated that his family knows his kids better than him at this point and confused that he just can't pick up where he left off with them. Walker seems clueless that he can't just ditch everyone whenever he wants and expect them to be okay with it, prioritizing work over family, with one of the last lines of the episode Walker telling his daughter, "I'm learning." The brothers go to a bar they frequent where we are introduced to the bartender Jerry. Jerry is a friend who was with Emily on the night of the murder, but says she didn't know anything. While she did mention how Cordell hounded her a while about what happened that night, he clearly didn't want to talk about it on his return to town. Meanwhile, it unfolds that Cordell's ex-partner has become his boss. Captain Larry James is a friend of the family and seems to know Cordell well. Walker's new partner, Micki Ramirez, is new to the job and worried Walker, who doesn't go by the book, is going to get her fired, being concerned that as a woman and Mexican-American Texas Ranger, she already has an uphill battle in this career where representation is uncommon. She tells Cordell she heard he is, quote, the edge of a coin, not heads or tails, just your way, and I know that's how you work. Micki asks Cordell about his undercover case he just returned from, but Walker says he doesn't want to talk about it. It is mentioned a few times in the episode that it was a longer than usual undercover assignment, and Walker's explanation was that it, quote, got complicated. He was praised for the result, but they only mention it as the Rodeo King's case. Micki's sexy boyfriend Trey is introduced as a medic that has returned from deployment, and it's hinted that he may be staying for longer than he is saying. She is ex-Army herself, when they probably originally met. He instantly gets along with Cordell, who's an ex-Marine, and in an earlier conversation with his girlfriend, he knew who Cordell was, calling him a legend in the Rangers. Meanwhile, Cordell's first case with his new partner plays out in the background of the reconnection stories. They get called into a case where a cop won't talk about an incident, which transpires to be because he stumbled upon a drug smuggling operation, and the cop feared the cartel. The Rangers track the vehicle involved in the incident to a heroin smuggling operation. This case links back to his wife's death, with one of the smugglers, Jordan, recognizing Walker and saying he heard from his cousin about the death of a Ranger's wife, and that he guessed Cordell couldn't protect her. This leads to a fight with the suspect, and later admonishment by both his partner and boss of Walker's handling of the situation. The case ends and Walker's boss tells him of an offer down south, and Walker clearly wants to take it, but his boss tells him to consider it, knowing of his family issues. Cordell talks to his brother about what happened with the most recent case and what the smuggler said to him, saying he wondered if he missed something in his wife's murder investigation. His brother said Carlos Mendoza confessed to the murder and that Walker believed the confession, that he should let it go. Walker talks about the suspicious scene of Emily's murder, with a poker chip lying on her that someone had closed her eyes, like they had taken the time to lay her to rest. Walker relays his worries while playing with a poker chip, the same poker chip he was playing with at the very beginning of the episode. Walker then talks to his mom, who has arranged he moved into a farmhouse on the property with his kids, worried about how everyone is doing with Emily's death, and guiding Cordell on how to pick back up on dad responsibilities. Cordell confesses that he wants to take the job even though it would mean leaving, and she clearly disapproves. Throughout the story, Walker is confronted by people telling him to stay, but he still wavers. It is clear that Emily was the one who took care of the family. Walker sees visions of his wife throughout the episode, wistfully remembering, but culminating in the ghost of his wife nodding to him about staying with his family and moving to the ranch, not a flashback but an interaction. His kids join him in their would-be now home, with Walker promising his skeptical daughter that he wouldn't take the job down south, that he would be there. One last juicy nugget. A drunk Cordell, lamenting his wife's passing, quotes Hamlet to his partner while talking about being undercover. Quote, doomed for a certain term to walk the night. Elements or themes of which seem to be woven into the story already, but perhaps that's better suited for a speculation video. Make sure to subscribe to Walker Watch to catch all the videos and leave a comment about what you think so far. Like the video to support a new channel, and thanks for watching Walker Watch, where we welcome watching weekly Western Walker. Also, there's a notification bell, but there's some dispute if that actually works. Couldn't hurt to click, though.